Glutathione is also very important for our immune function. So if you are getting sick often, this can be another warning sign that you might be low in glutathione. Today, we're going to explore the 7 warning signs that you may have low glutathione levels. Before we get into those warning signs, let's just touch on what glutathione is. Glutathione is your body's master antioxidant, we call it. It's involved in so many different functions, but primarily in the role of detoxification in the liver. It's also produced in the liver. So it plays a really important role when it relates to thyroid hormones, since 70% of our thyroid hormones are actually converted over to the active form in the liver. Glutathione is also incredibly important for our immune system and helping quench oxidative stress that drives inflammation. Now, let's talk about what are the main 7 warning signs that you might be deficient in glutathione and may need to support your body's own glutathione production or potentially look at supplementing glutathione. Number 1 is chronic fatigue. Without adequate glutathione, our mitochondria, which are the energy powerhouses of our cells where energy production occurs, can't function properly. So we need glutathione to be able to synthesize the food that we eat over into usable energy that our cells can actually utilize. Glutathione is also very important for our immune function. So if you are getting sick often, this can be another warning sign that you might be low in glutathione. Glutathione is incredibly important in immune activation as well as in T cells and natural killer cell production. Third warning sign could be dealing with brain fog or memory issues. Glutathione helps quench oxidative stress or that inflammation, particularly in our brain. So if you're experiencing memory issues, brain fog, or even low mood, such as depression, it might be a reason to look at your glutathione levels and or take a glance at oxidative stress levels. If you're a female and experience heavy menstrual bleeding or tender breasts before you start your period, or even as well around ovulation, which is about the halfway point of your menstrual cycle, this can also be an indicator that you have low glutathione levels. That's because you may be experiencing what's called estrogen dominance, where we have more estrogen that's unopposed to progesterone. So there's not equal amounts of progesterone to balance out all of that estrogen. And the reason why glutathione plays a role here is because estrogen actually gets metabolized through our liver. And so if we don't have adequate glutathione to be able to help control that metabolism process, that estrogen that's getting filtered through the liver can then get reabsorbed and go back into recirculation. And this can lead to elevations in estrogen levels. The 5th sign that you might have low glutathione levels is if you experience sensitivities to certain smells, jewelry, or other types of chemicals. If you're someone where you walk into a room and you're the first to notice the Glade plug-in or a candle burning, then you may have low glutathione levels. And the reason being is that your liver is getting overburdened with all of these different chemicals that you are inhalating or that you're utilizing on your skin, and it's depleting you of those glutathione levels, or there's not enough glutathione to be able to help your body with metabolizing through these different chemicals as you're getting exposed to them. The 6th sign that you might have low glutathione levels is that you have sinus problems or nasal congestion. Now, the reason for this is because oftentimes these sinus issues are a result of the spores that mold forms, which are called mycotoxins. Mold is a ubiquitous substance that we're exposed to in our environment, oftentimes through inhalation or through foods that we've even eaten. And if we have a buildup of these mycotoxins in our nasal passages, our body's actually utilizing a lot of this glutathione to be able to help get rid of them. And this can actually deplete these glutathione levels over time, which can then lead to issues with digestive symptoms, hormone problems, but most notably, people first experience symptoms with their sinuses or sneezing, allergies, and other histamine-related issues. When there's elevated levels of mycotoxins, this also damages our mitochondria, which causes more reactive oxygen species. And when there's more reactive oxygen species, our body utilizes all of the antioxidants to be able to combat that. And being that glutathione is our body's master antioxidant, this will deplete the body of our pool of glutathione. And the final symptom that I often see in practice is prolonged recovery from exercise. Now, when we exercise, there is a certain level of oxidative stress that occurs, which is important for the adaptation from training. This happens both during resistance training with the little tears of your muscle fibers, as well as during endurance exercise or cardiorespiratory type exercise, particularly as you start to get into the moderate and higher intensities. Glutathione essentially helps our body quench that oxidative stress and helps our body recover from strenuous exercise. So the more strenuous exercise that you do, the more you're utilizing that pool of glutathione. However, without enough glutathione, the stress from exercise becomes chronic, not acute, and that's when it can really break us down and become problematic. We want that stress from exercise. We want that oxidative stress because it's critical to the adaptation from exercise, getting stronger and getting fitter. However, it's when the stress becomes chronic that's when it becomes more problematic and we start to see issues arise within our body's ability to detoxify and recover. Mitochondrial function takes a hit, our hormones become impacted, and so on. Now, if glutathione levels are already low, our immune system starts to take a hit because remember that glutathione is an important piece to our immune function. And then that's when we start to see issues with frequent illness, difficulty with the healing process, or if you're someone that has an autoimmune disease like Hashimoto's, then you might even notice elevations happening within your antibody levels. So as you can see, there's many warning signs that can indicate that you may have low glutathione levels. When it comes to supporting on glutathione, we can supplement with glutathione directly. However, the issue is that it's very poorly absorbed. So many people turn to the precursor form, which is called N-acetylcysteine or NAC. This can be a great option. However, we want to make sure that we're also not overlooking the building blocks for our body's ability to make adequate glutathione. This is going to include certain foods that are rich in compounds like sulfur in particular, as well as selenium. These actually help our body with the production of glutathione. So within sulfur, we want to ensure we're eating lots of onions, garlic, cruciferous vegetables. And with selenium, the best source of this is going to be Brazil nuts. If we're incorporating these foods on a regular basis, it doesn't necessarily mean that we don't need glutathione supplementation, but it may mean that you can do with less supplementation or that you can also look at utilizing other types of antioxidants. If you love this video and want to learn more about the key foods that regulate optimal thyroid function, check out my free functional thyroid foods grocery list linked below, and be sure to hit the bell to subscribe to my channel so you'll be the first to know whenever I release a new video.